I am Lisa VanKesteren. I am the founder and CEO of C-Level, and we're a mystery shopping and customer experience agency. I'm not here to talk about mystery shopping or even customer experience specifically today. Mark had emailed me about a month ago and said, would you be interested in coming and talking about expectations? And I thought, perfect. I love talking about expectations. It's one of my favorite topics because it feeds so directly into the human experience. So I thought, this is wonderful. I wonder how he knew that I love talking about this, because if you've ever been in a meeting with me, it's one of my favorite things to talk about. So then I scrolled down a little bit lower in the email, and I saw that he had a link to a presentation I'd done earlier this year on exactly the same topic, and I realized that it was a little bit less about karma and a little bit more about YouTube. So that works too. Customer experience. There are two things that I'd like for everyone, or I hope for everyone, to take away from this particular talk. And I thought by this point in the day, cartoons is probably going to be the best thing to keep everybody's attention. Expectations. Expectations are everything. And not just for the sake of expectations, but because you have so much control over what your customer's experience is going to be by setting their expectations appropriately according to your brand. So let me demo this with just a little story, because it's kind of low-hanging fruit, but it's an easy way to explain what I mean by that. Let's talk hamburgers, one of my favorite topics anyway. So let's say I want a hamburger, cheeseburger, in fact, actually, because I like cheeseburgers better. I'm going to go to McDonald's, and I'm going to order myself a quarter pounder and a large fry. Don't judge. Don't judge me. You all know you like large fries. Quarter pounder and large fries, and I'm going to eat my McDonald's quarter pounder and large fries, and I'm going to be perfectly happy with it. May sit in the playscape, let the kids play a little bit. I'm going to have my hamburger. I'm going to squeeze my own ketchup out of the little pack. I'm going to wait in line, and I'm going to eat my quarter pounder with cheese and my large fries and be perfectly happy. But let's say next week, I'm more interested in a nicer hamburger, so I'm going to go to Chops. And for those of you not from Atlanta, Chops is a very nice steak restaurant right here in the city. And I'm going to order myself a cheeseburger from Chops. I'm going to wait to be seated. I'm going to wait 20, 30 minutes maybe for my hamburger to be cooked. It's going to come in a little stainless steel dipping ketchup thing. I'm not going to have to squeeze out my own. And I'm going to eat that hamburger, that cheeseburger, and I'm going to be really happy with that experience as well. But why? Both of them are hamburgers, cheeseburgers, if you will. Both are cheeseburgers. But my expectation is completely different. Because if you serve me a quarter pounder with cheese at Chops, I'm going to be ticked. I'm not going to be happy about it at all, because my expectations are so very different. Expectations are everything. So just imagine the power this gives you if you're in the branding department at your company, or if you have the ability to help set some of the brand standards, because you get to tell your customers what it is that you do well, and you get to kind of not necessarily reference too closely the things that you may not do as well. And that's key as well. So, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. I'll tell you another hamburger story. This probably tells you a lot about me, that demonstrates this as well. Steak and Shake. You're probably all familiar with Steak and Shake. My family is also very familiar with Steak and Shake. I have 3 kids, and between school and soccer practice and tutoring and bath time, et cetera, we're on the run sometimes. So we lots of times go to Steak and Shake because it just happens to be in the right place and we all like it. At Steak and Shake, when you go through the drive-thru and you place your order for naturally a cheeseburger and fries, you're going to wait a few minutes. You're going to wait maybe 4 to 5 minutes by the time you get around the whole drive-thru and actually get your order handed to you. But as you're waiting, because this is longer than you would wait at a McDonald's, all along the drive-thru they've got posters up. And the posters say things like, you're going to wait a few minutes longer, but our food is going to be hot and fresh. Or, just wait, it's coming up. It's going to be hot and fresh when you get it. And they have 3 or 4 posters along that wall that tell you what to expect. So all of a sudden, I'm really not unhappy about waiting 3 or 4 minutes, because I know I'm going to wait 3 or 4 minutes, and the food I get is going to be hot and fresh. It's the opportunity, once again, to point your customers towards what you do well and towards what you want them to pay attention to. So that's point number 1. It's an incredible amount of power, actually. Here's the second point. You don't have to be perfect. And this feeds into the whole expectations are everything, because you want to pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Steak and Shake knows they're not the fastest, so they're going to tell you we're hot and fresh. Our meals are hot and fresh. The shake is just made. It's not pre-made coming out of a machine. They're going to point you to what to expect. You do not have to be perfect at everything. It is very important to know who you are as a brand, and that's an entirely different presentation, an entirely different conversation. But knowing who you are as a brand is going to help define what it is that you deliver to your customers. But if you know who you are and you know what the value is that you bring to your customers, your best bet is to tell them over and over what it is that you are going to deliver to them, because that's then going to be exactly what they pay attention to. So, I think that's it. Any questions? All right.